Hey! Okay. Okay. Man, they should have included this in the Netflix.
Nah, Angie, I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy that you see clear now that the rain is gone. I'm good. Live your life, man.
There's no arguments. This is how it is. She packs my fucking condoms when I travel.
All you guys watching at home, you deserve better than to be packing condoms for a Sudanese refugee, okay? For anyone, really. But definitely not for no Somali pirate, okay?
And I'm so grateful that he can see a future with me. So also, before you go there, it's no any rollerblading guy.
Oh, she got rid of him too?
Like that. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I never cheated on anybody. That doesn't really align with my values. I know you have loved me.
This is just like a thing I noticed. They don't consider it cheating. But before they leave a dude, the next dude already ready. And it's not like anything explicit been said. He probably just said, hey, listen, you know, I seen you at the rink before. Could I oil your wheels? And, you know, but that shit's happening before they left the relationship. Now, they're going to say it's not cheating, but I promise you.
Oh, it's not official.
I promise you, if you look through them DMs and you see the communications between the two, you're going to think to yourself, we all knew what was happening. And that's how they so quickly just be on the next person. It don't happen by accident.
You're so happy.
Right now, I'm so happy. And honestly,
she happy too. We're all so happy, yeah? Just so you guys have context, y'all might think this is coming out of nowhere, but I do think it's always important to remember why she might feel the need, because it's not just this documentary. There's clips of her going viral that this guy used, how he's used her for his business.
Thank you.
And she's smart enough to understand, damn, though this bothers me a little bit that I know that he's with other women, I understand that he cares about me, he loves me, provides for me.
I'm not sneaking around in my own fucking house. There's no arguments. This is how it is. She packs my fucking condoms when I travel.
Sorry for her.
Yeah, and here's the thing. No. She lives a great fucking life, and she's
critique me that
15 seconds left. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful. Secure the bombs.
Reloading! Cover me!
Op 4 located a bomb. Negative.
Activate jammer. Position device.
10 seconds left.
I'm reloading!
5 seconds to insertion. Bomb located by Op 4.
Think of the magnet as your lucky charm. Magnet activate. Trying magnet. Perimeter defense is active.
Keeper strikes true. Deploy barrier.
Nico, you know what you gotta try? They just came out with it. Honey roasted M&Ms. They just recently came out with honey roasted peanut M&Ms. I tried them the other caramel honey is tasty. Apparently he is a big food consumer. So Jam decides to bring the I didn't bring him to the studio. I didn't even.
Secure the bombs.
New feed active.
No, near him. That's
Area gate
oh.
deployed. Field deployed. Laser gate in position.
Op 4 has located a bomb. Plan your defenses accordingly.
Laser gate in position. Fortified wall.
Deploying razor wire.
Place device.
10 seconds left.
Timber feed up and running.
5 seconds. Op 4 has located a bomb. Get ready to engage.
Device activated. Device placed.
Reloading!
Reloading.
Beat it.
Op 4, last stop standing. Friendly's victorious. Hostiles eliminated. locate a bomb. Your drone has found a bomb. Seconds to go. 5 seconds to insertion. Proceed to bomb location and defuse it. Recover the diffuser. The diffuser has been recovered.
Loading mag! Swapping mags. Deploying payload.
The diffuser is no longer in your possession. The diffuser is now secured. Seconds remaining. Down to one friendly. 10 seconds. Op 4 eliminated all friendlies.
This episode is sponsored by Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply. Run our knife between them and separate. And of course repeat with the other side. Then we have to separate the chicken legs. There's barely any bone or cartilage between the breast and thigh, so they should be
10 seconds. 5 seconds. A bomb must be located and defused.
Watch out. Enemy device nearby.
They got my point.
Detected an enemy device. Enemy device is taken. Some serious gyro work coming up.
Claim online. I'll be ready. RC going out.
Located a bomb.
Sending out my drone.
Charged ATS disruptor.
Time to make a new door. Look out. It's live. RCE Latero out. Latero anchored.
Watch it. I'm reloading.
Sending every copy. Drone active.
Seconds remaining. Left. Friendly, last operator standing. We have been eliminated. We need to locate a bomb. 10 seconds to go. 5 seconds. Your mission is to locate and defuse a bomb. Located a bomb.
Drone ready.
Boosting
Drone is a go.
Fusion initiated.
Activation.
Op 4 neutralized. Mission successful.
Be very easy to cut in between. Then we're going to start very graphically taking off everybody's skin, but do not discard it. It's got plenty of collagen to add to our stock. Then we're going to remove all the white meat from the breastbone. Simply find the breastbone and begin making shallow cuts down alongside it until you've removed the breast. Repeat with the other side and you got yourself a chicken carcass. Yet another essential building block of a good stock. Then the thigh and drumstick are getting the same kind of gross skinless treatment. Ugh. To find the joint between these, we're going to look for this strip of fat. Place a cut right down the center of this and it will reveal the joint that you can run your knife in between and separate the two. Then to remove the meat from the drumstick, we're effectively just going to scrape it down the bone. Again, kind of a gross process. Be happy that I don't record audio. The thigh is a very similar story. There's a single bone that we need to cut underneath, separating the meat and again reserving all the bones for our stock. Once you have liberated the meat from their bony captors, it's time to start chopping up the meat. I'm just cutting everything into bite-sized pieces and keeping the breast meat and leg and thigh meat separate because the breast meat is going to be better for our day of pie and the dark meat is going to be better for the freezer pies. Go ahead and refrigerate these until we're ready to use them. For now, it's time to make stock. We're going to want to cut the spine and carcass down into more manageable pieces, gather everybody into a big gory pile, and toss them with a little bit of neutral flavored oil like vegetable or canola. Then we're spreading them out evenly on a generously greased rack set in an aluminum foil lined rind-rimmed baking sheet and roasting at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour or until deeply brown whilst we prepare our vegetables. Vegetables are where you can start to be truly creative with your stock. The absolute essentials are carrots, celery, and onion, but feel free to put your own spin on things with stuff like parsnips, which are going to add a bit of earthy sweetness. Turnips are an inoffensive root vegetable that will help complement the carrots, maybe even a little bit of woody spice. Leeks bring a very mellow but slightly more complex onion flavor, a little sweeter in the white parts and a little grassier in the green parts. Fresh lemongrass brings a lemony, minty flavor to the party. You should most certainly add a whole head of garlic chopped in half widthwise, and then maybe the most optional ingredient, some fennel fronds, which are going to bring a rooty, anise vibe. Lastly, a tablespoon of whole peppercorns, a few sprigs of fresh parsley, and a few sprigs of fresh thyme, and a bay leaf or two if that's your thing. And of course, our freshly roasted chicken parts, each one packed full of chicken flavor, none of which will go to waste when put to use in a stock. You could of course cover these guys with water and slow simmer for anywhere from 4 to 24 hours.
Drone has located a bomb. Ten seconds to go. 5 seconds before insertion. You found a bomb. Make your way to its location and defuse it. You must recover the diffuser. The diffuser is now secured.
But you can achieve a very close approximation with 60 minutes in a pressure cooker, which cooks its contents at a much higher temperature and extracts their precious flavors in a fraction of the time. Now we need to release the pressure and drain our stock, but first we have to make every effort to try to creep out our camera guy. I think it's working. Drain this liquid gold and you're good to go. Homemade stock is one of the essential parts of an amazing chicken pot pie. What's the most important part? That's right, the flaky, buttery pastry crust. We're going to start by measuring out 150 grams of all-purpose flour, tiny whisked together with 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1 stick or about 113 grams of refrigerator cold butter. The objective here is to get the butter down into pea-sized pieces. You can do this with a couple of knives, but that's kind of really annoying to do, so if you have a pastry cutter around the house, that's going to make quick work of our butter into tiny little globules of
10 seconds before insertion. 5 seconds. You must locate and defuse a bomb. You have located a bomb.
Smoke screen!
defenses accordingly. Down to 5 seconds. Bomb located by Op 4.
Device placed. Device positioned. Wall shot!
Swapping mags!
Op 4, last operator standing. One friendly remaining. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
Flaky making goodness. The next objective here is to add just enough ice water to make the dough come together. I found that 50 grams is a good place to start, adding a tablespoon or two at a time as necessary. We're to start by bringing things together with a rubber spatula and eventually using our hands to massage things into a barely cohesive ball of dough. Take care not to over knead, that's how you get a tough pie crust. Once it holds its shape when pressed together, we're going to wrap it tightly in plastic wrap, press into a disc, and
Secure the bombs.
Camera activated!
Op 4 located a bomb.
Walls secured! Deploying magnet! Magnet activated.
Down to 10 seconds. 5 seconds to insertion.
Jammer ready.
Op 4 has located a bomb.
Stick to the plan. Reload.
Operator
No
standing.
way, dude.
Time expires in 10 seconds. 5 seconds to go. 1 op 4 remaining. Op 4 bomb. You need to disable their diffuser. Diffuser located. Protect the bombs and disable the diffuser. Disable the bomb diffuser. Good work. Mission successful. Secure the bomb.
Swapping mags. Jammer ready to activate.
Op 4 located a bomb. Protect it.
Initiate jammer. Reload.
10 seconds left.
Ready for
Down to 5 seconds. Bomb located in Op 4.
point ready to go. Throwing out knock.
Activate jammer.
Deploying welcome mat.
Deploying jammer.
Bomb diffuser in place. Located the diffuser. Destroy it. Op 4, last stop standing.
I'm reloading.
Bomb defusing device is disabled. Mission successful.
refrigerate for at least 1 hour. This is both going to allow the gluten to relax and prevent the butter from melting prematurely. If you were fortunate enough to get a food processor for your birthday last year, this is the absolute easiest way to make a pie crust. Simply combine the same amount of flour and salt in the bowl of the food processor, affix your shredding disc, and feed a frozen stick of butter down through the feed tube. This will shred the butter into perfect little uniform shreds, which will translate beautifully into nice flaky layers in your pie crust. Pour the flour and butter mixture into a large bowl, add the ice water as before, and coax into a cohesive disc of dough. Now that our pie crust is in the fridge and ready to go, it's time to configure our filling. We're going to start by melting 2 tablespoons of butter in a 10-inch cast iron skillet. Once nice and sizzly and foamy, we're going to add our chicken breasts, sauteing for 2 to 3 minutes just until we get some nice color. Then we're going to fish them out and set them aside and add yet another 2 tablespoons of butter to the skillet. That might seem like an awful lot of butter, but we're going to need it to formulate our sauce. Into the butter goes half a chopped onion that we're going to saute for 2 to 3 minutes before adding some aromatic vegetables. Chopped carrots, celery, and parsnips are my personal preference. We're going to saute those over medium heat for about 5 minutes until they soften and just start to pick up a little bit of color. Then we're adding a tablespoon of freshly chopped thyme, sauteing for another 30 seconds or until fragrant, and then it's time to begin the thickening. To the skillet, we're going to add 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, which we're going to saute together for about 1 to 2 minutes. This, along with all the butter, is going to make a sort of makeshift roux. Then, optionally, we're going to deglaze with a 1/4 cup of white wine or dry sherry. Cook that for about a minute until the alcohol smell wears off, and then it's time to start slowly adding our stock. A little splash at a time at first, mixing until a thick paste forms. We eventually want to add about 2 cups of our homemade stock, which is going to come together to form a thick, velvety, flavorful sauce, to which we're going to add our previously sauteed chicken and any of its accumulated juices, bringing to a simmer and letting cook for about 5 minutes until the chicken is cooked through. Then it's time to start the finishing process. A few generous pinches of kosher salt, some freshly ground black pepper, tasting for seasoning, adjust as necessary. Remember, you can always go forward, you can never go back. It's time to kill the heat and add a few tablespoons of freshly chopped parsley, half a cup of frozen peas, and a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. This way the flavor of the peas and the parsley will stay nice and fresh, and the heavy cream will not split in the simmering skillet. Give this one last mix, taste it for seasoning, and then set it aside and keep it covered while we prepare our pie crust. First, we're going to remove our well-chilled dough from the fridge, generously dust it and our work surface with all-purpose flour, and begin to bang it out with a rolling pin, whacking repeatedly until it's about twice its original size. Then we're going to start rolling until it's around about 1/8 of an inch thick, which we're going to cut into a round that we're going to place on top of our cast iron skillet pot pie. Now, this carries with it a few complications. First off, shrinkage. George Costanza was right. Shrinkage is very real and it must be accounted for. If you just grab your pie dough and throw it on top of your filling, cut a few vents, brush the whole thing down with egg wash, and throw it in the oven, one of 2 things is going to happen. If you have a very moist, saucy filling, your crust is going to capsize. It will shrink and fall beneath the waves like so many sailors of yore. If you try to overcompensate and make a less saucy filling, you're going to end up with a picture-perfect, very dry pie, which is going to look very good on Instagram, but very bad on your resume when you're forced to give a job interview in the form of a dinner party, which I'm sure has happened at least once in human history. On the other hand, you could borrow this amazing trick from the folks over at America's Test Kitchen. Their idea is to pre-cut and pre-vent your crust. They don't say to use heart shapes, but I am my own man. Then place your crust in the fridge for at least 30 minutes after forming to help the gluten relax so it doesn't shrink as much. Brush the whole thing down with a beaten egg. Maybe place your heart cutouts back on top in a decorative fashion. Sprinkle with flaky finishing salt and bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 15 minutes until lightly golden brown. Cool completely for 10 to 15 minutes on a wire rack, and then gently shuffle on top of your completed pot pie filling and bake for an additional 10 minutes at 400 until bubbly, golden brown, crisp, and absolutely beautiful. Now there's a pot pie that's as fantastic as it is photogenic. All there is left to do is grab a big old spoon and dig in. You'll find that unlike most pot pies, this crust is shatteringly crisp, set prettily atop its saucy, flavorful filling. It is quite simply the best chicken pot pie experience you will ever experience. But you ask, what about the dark meat? Well, I think that responds better to being frozen. So we're going to cut it up into the same bite-sized pieces and prepare it very much the same way as the white meat filling. This time using just a little oil instead of all that butter, sauteing until we have a little bit of color, adding our aromatics, and then our stock, and letting the whole thing simmer for about 20 minutes. This way the dark meat gets a chance to braise and break down. Then to thicken, instead of the flour, we're reaching for 2 to 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, which we're going to mix with about half a cup of cold stock, otherwise the cornstarch is going to get lumpy. Mix until completely homogeneous and then slowly stream into the filling while mixing constantly so it doesn't clump up. We're going to cook that for about 3 more minutes until the desired consistency is achieved, season to taste, add some parsley, and then set aside to cool. If you're making these freezer pies, you can either double up your pie crust recipe or use the scraps from the original recipe to cut your little rounds. We want these to be just a little bit larger than our intended serving vessels. I'm going with ramekins. And then we're going to simply divvy up our filling and top with the crusts, wrap in plastic wrap, and freeze for up to 3 months. When it comes time to reheat, we're going to bake them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes wrapped in foil, then unwrap, brush with a beaten egg, and bake for another 20 minutes until golden brown and bubbly. So there you have it, folks. Chicken pot pie that makes use of the whole chicken, and you can taste it in every bite, whatever that means. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you try it for yourselves. Thanks again to Simply Safe for sponsoring this video. Simply Safe is the easy-to-use, totally customizable home screen. You sign up for a professional starch, which, when subjected to a mac and cheese-like environment, can cause some problems. Here you can see I'm making the exact same mac and cheese recipe, one using pre-shredded cheddar, the other using post-shredded, or, the kind you shred yourself. Let's see if we can spot.
When it was time to add my son to our car insurance, I was scared to even think about my wallet. But instead, with Drive Easy on the Geico app, my son's safe driving score saved us even more.
It feels good to save. It feels good to Geico.
We're looking for adults 45 and under to be in our HPV vaccination ad. Sound like you?
Not me. It's the big game. I don't care if it's soccer or the play. This episode is sponsored by Challenge Dairy, the new butter in my kitchen. Challenge, the butter with the elk on it, has innovated the way we use butter. They have these cubes in 4 tablespoon chunks, so you can throw in into your mac and cheese, your baking, your finishing sauce. The convenience and quality of this stuff is worth it. And you know what any good game day snack needs? Butter. That's why you'll see it used throughout these recipes. For more info on Challenge and to find yourself some butter cubes, scan the QR code or head to the description.
Who are you going to be pulling for in the big game this year?
Oh, I gotta root for my hometown. It's also The Great Pretender. It steals without having anything to take. Football! Are you ready for some football? All right, first up, poutine bites. Probably the easiest one that we're making today. This is also my redemption arc for poutine, which I've historically mangled on this channel. These are definitely not traditional poutine. We're making little individual bites, but I think I have done poutine and, dare I say, the entire country of Canada proud. Now, you want to make this in a mini muffin tin, but I didn't have a mini muffin tin, so I made mini muffin cups by cutting little squares of parchment paper and little squares of aluminum foil and using a little cup to mold them into cups themselves that would hold some thawed tater tots. These are just frozen tater tots.
locate a bomb. Be advised your drone has located a bomb. Seconds to insertion. 5 seconds to go. You found a bomb. Make your way to its location and defuse it. You have dropped the diffuser. The diffuser is now secured. Advised your drone has located a bomb. Ten seconds. 5 seconds to go. Proceed to bomb's location and defuse it.
Sophia, looks like you finally recovered from that stab wound.
I should have never turned my back on that dealer.
We need to locate a bomb. Your drone has found a bomb. Seconds to insertion. 5 seconds before insertion. You've located a bomb. Make your way to its location and defuse it.
Reloading. Cover me. I have you covered. Stay behind me.
Adrenaline surge incoming. Frag grenade hot!
You have dropped the diffuser. Friendly. We have been eliminated. Protect the bombs. Bomb 4 has located the bomb. Protect your defenses accordingly.
slow them down. Tension set.
You've been exposed. Op 4, last stop standing.
Reloading.
Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
Hey, Cal, how's it going, man? How's your day been? That's good, man. What you get for dinner today?
Secure
I
the
had
area.
a buttered
Keep the bombs protected. Be advised, Op 4 has found a bomb. One op 4 remaining. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
Burritos had chicken, steak, and shrimp. Damn! That sounds delicious. I don't even want. I like steak. Chicken and steak and shrimp. Oof. Washi style quesadillas, chicken quesadillas. Sounds wonderful. Sounds like every bite would work. I love seafood. I love Asian food. I love hibachis. I like the flavor combination and profiles of the food. Oh, teriyaki sauce. There's this company that makes like a ginger dressing that I like, that I put on salads and stuff. Just, that and crab rangoons.
Protect the bombs.
Playing my trump card.
10 seconds to insertion. 5 seconds to insertion. Bomb location secure.
Shield ready. Healing station placed.
Op 4 has located a bomb. You know what to do.
Healing station in position. Doorway secured.
Here's the snack. Reload.
Alarm!
diffuser has been successfully deployed. Mission failed. All friendlies were eliminated. Secure the bombs. Op 4 has located a bomb. Be ready for assault. Op 4 has located a bomb. Get ready to engage.
I'm on guard. Banshee is ready. Window barricaded!
Friendly, last operator standing. Seconds left. Op 4, last stop standing. 5 seconds left. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful. We need to locate a bomb. Be advised your drone has located a bomb. 10 seconds to go. 5 seconds. You've located a bomb. Make your way to its location and defuse it. The diffuser is no longer in your possession. The diffuser is now secured.
Gonna shoot me again, Callie? Oh, princess. Still crying over fake bullets. Operator standing.
tots that I let thaw completely so they're soft. Now, I started by just taking the tots and smashing them down in the cups, but this wasn't working very well, so eventually I realized that my best option was to break up about 24 tots, and then drizzle about 4 tablespoons of melted butter over top, mixing them together to make a sort of substrate that I could press down into my muffin cups. And our goal here is to make a potato cup, basically. We want there to be a solid bottom and little side walls of potato. These guys are headed into a 375-degree Fahrenheit oven for 15 to 20 minutes until they're golden brown and completely set. While those bake, we need to make our gravy. This, of course, starts with butter. 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, which we're going to melt and add an equal part flour, 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, to make a roux. Cook that for 1 to 3 minutes until the raw flour smell dissipates, and then we're going to start slowly streaming in our stock. 4 cups of beef stock, 1 little splash at a time. You want to whisk it until all the liquid is absorbed. It's going to turn into a kind of a chunky mess, but that's okay. When you add the next splash, those chunky messes are going to absorb that splash, and so on and so forth until you have a smooth base to which you can add the rest of the liquid, and you're left with a lumpless gravy. Now, to really amp up the flavors of this gravy, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And you know those little clamshells of poultry herbs that you see at the grocery store? Usually there's a few sprigs of thyme, some sage, and some rosemary. Grab one of those and just dump it in there. Also, if you really want to make things crazy, you can add a teaspoon or 2 of Marmite. This is a yeast extract that is basically pure umami. And it's going to bring a huge depth of flavor to our gravy. Now we got to bring it up to a simmer and cook it for about 10 minutes until it thickens. If it's too thin, you can always make a beurre-mont. That is a paste of butter and flour, again in equal parts, that you mash together and then add to the simmering liquid while whisking constantly. It will continue to thicken your gravy. Just make sure to simmer it again for about 10 minutes after that addition so that the beurre-mont can properly thicken your gravy. Taste for seasoning and set aside. As you can see, our potato cups are beautifully golden brown. I'm going to drop a single cheese curd into each. Make sure you use cheese curds, nothing else, or Canadians will hate you. And this guy's going back into the oven for 5-10 minutes, just until the cheese is completely melted, maybe starting to brown in little spots. I'm straining out the gravy. Got way too much here for our little cups, but hey, I can always use more gravy. I'm going to thinly slice some chives for garnish, grab our potato parcels, and take a look. They're adorable, and spoiler alert, they're delicious. I kind of overfilled them with the cheese, so I didn't have much room for gravy, but I still had room. I'm pouring some gravy in over top of the cheese. There's a little overflow, no big deal. Garnish with some chives, and what we're left with are bite-sized pieces of poutine. Now, I cannot speak to the authenticity of this poutine. I have been reprimanded in the past for doing so, but what I can tell you is this is one of the most delicious appetizers I've ever had. The potatoes are crazy crispy from all that butter and that robust par bake. The cheese is squeaky and melty, and the gravy is loaded with flavor. And not only are the chives pretty, but they bring a nice little onion flavor. Together, it's a masterstroke. Everything I do is all downhill from here, because I don't see how I can top that. It's incredible, and it's really easy to make, so I hope you give it a try for yourselves.
What do you think Kansas City's absence from the playoffs says about the shape of the league in 2026?
What? Are you making up words? That doesn't sound right. You're trying to mess with me. It's funny. This guy's funny. He's very funny. He's a funny guy.
At Lay's, we know baking is caring. So Lay's Baked Crisps are crafted with farm-grown potatoes, unforgettable flavors, and 50% less fat than baked to perfection with olive oil. Lay's Baked Crisps, baked with care.
He's picking up good vibrations. It's giving him excitation. Good vibrations. Excitations. He's picking up good.
Next up, some $1 million deviled eggs with a creative spin on service. So I started by trying to hard-boil medium-sized eggs. I wanted these to be smaller, more bite-sized. But as it turns out, that smaller shell is just as thick as a large egg's. And the smaller form factor makes it way harder to peel without accidentally cracking the egg open.
What?
I unfortunately had to abandon ship and move back to large eggs. I got a half dozen large eggs that I'm placing in a steamer basket and steaming for 12 minutes flat before plunging directly into an ice bath. This is going to cook them just enough so that the yolks are set, but they don't start to turn green. After they've sat in the ice bath for about 15 minutes, we can start cracking and peeling. Then we're cutting each one in half, admiring how perfectly the egg yolk is cooked, and we're going to start gently scooping out the yolk, trying to keep the white intact. So now here's my creative little twist on deviled eggs. I think that deviled eggs are a little too big and rich in the mouth. I think that it's very hard to eat half a deviled egg, and I think that they could be a better form factor, and this is easily achieved. Basically, I'm taking each egg and I'm putting it in a jar lid, one that lets the top, I'd say 30% of the egg white sit above the rim of the cap, allowing us to cut it off. The intention here is twofold, both to create a flat-bottomed deviled egg, no more of those annoying, plates with the cavities in them, but it also cuts down on the amount of egg white, and who likes extra egg white with their deviled eggs? Now, if you just kept them that way, there'd be no way to pick them up. More on that later. First, we need to make our deviled egg filling. I've got all the yolks here that I'm going to add a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, about 2 teaspoons of pickle juice, and the secret ingredient, about a tablespoon of room temperature unsalted butter. That's what makes these $1 million eggs. Butter helps the egg yolk mixture keep its shape. It gives it a lighter, creamier texture, and it adds flavor and fat. It's a win-win-win-win. I only said 3 things, so it's a win-win-win. Still, we're going to season with a little bit of kosher salt, a little bit of freshly ground black pepper, and a little bit of granulated sugar, and a lot of bit of hot sauce. I definitely added too much there, but whatever, this will be good. I tried to scoop some out and failed, and so here we go. We're going to tiny whisk these guys together until we get a nice, smooth mixture of yolk filling. You might want to not use a tiny whisk for this, though. Maybe just use a regular size whisk. This was perilous. Or a fork. Why not? Just whisk until there's no more chunks of egg yolk left. Then we're going to place this mixture in a piping bag and pipe it into our egg whites. Now, these egg whites have a hole in the bottom, so not only can you not pick them up, but the filling will just, sort of through the bottom. Which is why we're going to assemble our deviled eggs on crackers. Not only is this going to add what I think is a very welcome crunch, it's going to provide a vehicle for the entire affair to be placed into the human mouth, even bitten in half in the case of smaller mouths, and lovingly pipe the egg yolk mixture inside. Don't be stingy now, this is the best part. Last but not least, we're going to optionally garnish with either a thinly sliced cornichon or a little length of chive, if you want to be classy, or both. What I really want you
We need to locate a bomb. Seconds. 5 seconds to insertion. locate and defuse a bomb.
Let's not knacker the timing on the breach this time, yeah?
Right. Don't want to embarrass you in front of the team, Thatcher.
Bomb has been located.
Enemy devices are some serious drywall work coming up! Wait, enemy device detected. Hosted enemy devices. Electronics.
You have dropped the diffuser.
I got it.
Four remaining. Op 4 neutralized. Mission successful.
Azami. She wasn't even a problem.
We need to locate a bomb. Ten seconds to go. 5 seconds before insertion. Your mission is to locate and defuse a bomb. You have located a bomb.
Cam deployed.
Drone ready.
Op 4 neutralized. Mission successful.
I was just bucking around.
Need to use your drone to locate a bomb. Be advised your drone has located a bomb.
This season. I had a snake. Part of the new season. No.
10 seconds to insertion. 5 seconds before insertion. You found a bomb. Make your way to its location and defuse it.
was the Kool-Aid man that whole round. Do you end up finding a game you want? A new game that you like to play? I found a crazy, goofy one called We Gotta Go. It's an indie game that you can find on Steam. Super good, super good.
Secure the area. Keep the bombs protected.
Activating camera.
Down to 10 seconds. 5 seconds and counting.
Yeah, Headliners is pretty neat, honestly.
You must protect your bombs from being defused by Op 4.
Give me a.
Barricade active!
Op 4 has located a bomb. You know what to do.
Keep that barrier up.
Op 4, last stop standing. 15 seconds left. One friendly remaining. 5 seconds left. Mission failed. All friendlies were eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on the searches for some like games that break away from the norms.
Secure the bombs.
Swapping bags! Reload!
5 seconds and counting. Bomb location secure.
All reinforcements are going up! AD is deployed and ready to go.
Be advised, Op 4 has located a bomb.
Reloading, cover me.
Down to 15 seconds. Time expires in 10 seconds. 5 seconds to go.
Where's the rest of you?
Op 4, last operator standing. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
You to take away from this is the butter in the egg yolk mixture and the form factor. These guys are easier and more fun and more delicious to eat as a result of those two things.
What's it like watching the Patriots try to reclaim their power in the post-Brady Belichick era?
The Pats are all over the place without Big Bill and Little Tom. And next up, spinach and artichoke dip with brioche monkey bread. Basically, my dream realized. To make the monkey bread, we're starting by combining 500 grams of bread flour, 50 grams of sugar, 7 grams of kosher salt, and 7 grams of instant dry yeast in the bowl of a stand mixer. Give it a little whisking to get everybody homogeneous. Then we're going to add the wet stuff. 100 grams of whole milk and 200 grams of water. I just like to combine them together in one measuring cup and gently microwave in 10-second bursts until it's almost exactly 85 degrees. Add that to the wets, affix dough hook, and stand mix until a shaggy dough forms with no dry pockets. Then we're going to start adding butter, 85 grams of unsalted butter at room temperature, making sure each piece is fully incorporated before adding the next. This is going to take 5 to 7 minutes to do, so it's lots of kneading time, but we need extremely good gluten development, so you might want to keep kneading it for several minutes after all the butter is added, until you have a super smooth, bouncy, beautiful brioche dough, one that handily passes the window pane test. We're going to roll it into a tight, taut little ball, place it back in our mixing bowl that's been the entire...
I had lived my life the only way that I had known. But when the pillars of that life came crashing down, I did not...
The entire affair to be placed into the human mouth, even bitten in half in the case of smaller mouths, and lovingly pipe the egg yolk mixture inside. Don't be stingy now, this is the best part. Last but not least, we're going to optionally garnish with either a thinly sliced cornichon or a little length of chive, if you want to be classy, or both. What I really want you to take away from this is the butter in the egg yolk mixture and the form factor. These guys are easier and more fun and more delicious to eat as a result of those two things.
What's it like watching the Patriots try to reclaim their power in the post-Brady Belichick era?
The Pats are all over the place without Big Bill and Little Tom. And next up, spinach and artichoke dip with brioche monkey bread. Basically, my dream realized. To make the monkey bread, we're starting by combining 500 grams of bread flour, 50 grams of sugar, 7 grams of kosher salt, and 7 grams of instant dry yeast in the bowl of a stand mixer. Give it a little whisking to get everybody homogeneous. Then we're going to add the wet stuff. 100 grams of whole milk and 200 grams of water. I just like to combine them together in one measuring cup and gently microwave in 10-second bursts until it's almost exactly 85 degrees. Add that to the wets, affix dough hook, and stand mix until a shaggy dough forms with no dry pockets. Then we're going to start adding butter, 85 grams of unsalted butter at room temperature, making sure each piece is fully incorporated before adding the next. This is going to take 5 to 7 minutes to do, so it's lots of kneading time, but we need extremely good gluten development, so you might want to keep kneading it for several minutes after all the butter is added, until you have a super smooth, bouncy, beautiful brioche dough, one that handily passes the window pane test. We're going to roll it into a tight, taut little ball, place it back in our mixing bowl that's been lightly greased with a little bit of butter, cover loosely with plastic wrap, and let rest at room temperature for 45 minutes to an hour and a half until it's grown by about 50%. You don't want it to quite double in size. While that's doing its bulk fermentation, we're going to prep our pan. I have a 12-inch cast iron skillet that I'm going to generously butter both the bottom and the sides, and that is where we're going to assemble our monkey bread, which after about 1 hour is ready to go. Now, monkey bread is a whole bunch of little pieces of dough that have been allowed to bake and grow together. What makes it monkey bread is each of those pieces of dough is rolled in butter. So I got 2 cubes of our challenge butter that I'm going to break down into smaller pieces, place in a small saute pan or fry pan, add a little dusting of garlic and onion powder, and melt. This is going to create a flavorful, gently garlicky butter that we can use as the social lubricant between each of our dough pieces. Now that our dough has puffed up in size, I'm going to turn it out onto a lightly greased work surface. Might as well use more challenge butter. Knock all the air out of it, and then we're going to break it down into small bite-sized pieces. Basically, I'm cutting the dough into 3 segments. I'm stretching each of those segments out into a long, thin rope, and then I'm cutting that dough into pieces about the size of a ping pong ball, each of which I'm going to use my hand as a sort of cage to roll into a tight, taut little ball. You want to use the edge of your finger and your thumb to push the dough underneath itself while you rotate it around on your work surface. Rinse and repeat with the remaining dough, and then it's time to dip and stack. I'm dipping each piece in our garlic butter, stacking them in an even layer around the outside of the cast iron skillet, which I was playing around with in a couple different ways, and eventually ended on one circle of dough balls on the bottom outside edge, and then stacking another ring of dough balls on top of that. This is going to make a sort of monkey bread levee that keeps our spinach and artichoke dip at bay, loosely covering with buttered plastic wrap, and letting rise at room temperature again for about 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And again, we want things to puff by about 50%. We do not want to double in size. While those little guys rise, we're going to make our spinach and artichoke dip. I've got about 12... ounces of jarred marinated artichokes that I'm cutting into bite-sized pieces. Then I'm grating about a half pound of Monterey Jack cheese, finally grating about 3 ounces of Parmesan cheese, and mixing the two together to create our flavorful cheese base. Then spinach and artichoke dip usually calls for mayo, and this, like all dishes, is benefited greatly by the addition of homemade mayo. It's very easy to make as long as you have an immersion blender. Basically, in a cup the same width as the immersion blender head, we're combining 1 large egg, half a small garlic clove, a little pinch of kosher salt, and about a half teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Immersion blend those together until they're completely smooth, and then with the immersion blender head still in the cup, we're going to gently stream neutral oil like vegetable or canola down the side of the cup so that it settles on top of the egg. On high speed, immersion blending at the bottom of the cup, and once a thick, creamy mayo starts to form down there, slowly pulsing upward. Incorporating any oil that might have missed the immersion blades, and what you're left with is a homemade mayo that just runs circles around anything you can buy in the store. Now I've got a 12-ounce package of frozen spinach that I'm just going to heat up in a saute pan with a little bit of butter and a little splash of water until it's completely thawed and soft and ready to go. Then I'm turning up the heat and sauteing it a little bit with about 3 cloves of crushed garlic. Then I'm adding our artichoke mixture, sauteing that together for 2 to 3 minutes until everybody has had some nice saute time. Then I'm killing the heat and adding 1 8-ounce package of room temperature cream cheese cut into cubes, which I'm going to gently fold together with the vegetables. This is going to sort of temper the cream cheese and help prevent it splitting in the oven. We're going to add our mayo, 1 cup's worth, mix that in, and of course, most of our grated cheese. I'm saving a little bit for the top. Fold that in, get everybody together. Shouldn't be completely melted, but should be totally homogeneous and incorporated. And there you have it. That's our basic spinach and artichoke dip. Give it a taste. Season it with kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper as you desire. Meanwhile, our balls have grown. You can tell that they're properly proofed by poking the dough and seeing how quickly it springs back. If it springs back immediately, that means you need to let it prove longer. If it doesn't spring back at all, it's overproofed. But what are you going to do? If you poke it and it just springs back a little, but doesn't completely reinflate the ball, that's perfect. And that's right where these guys are at. So I'm going to uncover them and I'm going to bake just the bread in a preheated 350 degree Fahrenheit oven for
We need to locate a bomb. Drone has located a bomb. 10 seconds to insertion. 5 5 seconds before insertion. Proceed to bomb the location and defuse it.
Loading new magazine! Knock, knock. Reloading!
Take cover. It's hot.
Put the shield down.
Deploy pal. No pal on shield.
Flame out. Drone's ready.
A really big fucking arm.
Loading new magazine!
You must recover the diffuser. The diffuser has been secured. The diffuser is no longer in your possession. Friendly op 15 seconds left. All friendlies have been eliminated.
For about 20 minutes, rotating halfway through. If your balls start to collapse on themselves, you can prop them up. I used a large ramekin to keep them in place. Then after that 20 minutes, the balls should be just starting to pick up a little bit of color and starting to set. This is when we're going to add our spinach and artichoke dip. Go ahead and spoon that into the center, smooth it out into one even layer, and hit it with our reserved cheese. Now, in hindsight, this is not the best move. I would just hit it with Parmesan. The Monterey Jack ended up making a sort of crispy layer of cheese that was very difficult to penetrate with bread dips. So maybe don't mix those cheeses together and just garnish with Parmesan, because that won't create as robust a crust. Then this guy's headed back into that 350 Fahrenheit oven for 15 to 20 minutes until the bread is deeply golden brown and the dip is melted and bubbly. Lastly, to finish this whole thing off, we need more butter. I've got one challenge butter.
Insertion insertion in 5 seconds. You must locate and defuse a bomb.
Activated.
You located a bomb. Drop the diffuser. Op 4 eliminated. Friendly mission successful.
Cube that's 4 tablespoons that I'm going to melt down in a small saute pan with some grated fresh garlic. I'm going to saute the garlic and the butter together just until the garlic becomes fragrant, then take it off the heat. Our spinach and artichoke dip monkey bread is out of the oven, and man does it look good. Now all we have to do is add a whole bunch of freshly chopped parsley to our butter mixture and brush down the rolls so that they have a fresh hit of garlic and herby flavor. Plus, it's going to give them a beautiful sheen. And before the butter gets absorbed, we're going to sprinkle it down with flaky finishing salt to make sure that it sticks. I didn't think this needed to look any better, but damn, I don't just want to eat that. I want to get to know it. I want to take it out for a moonlit cruise where we can really dig down.
We need to locate a bomb. Drone has located a bomb. 10 seconds. 5 seconds to insertion. Proceed to bomb location and defuse it.
Deep and figure out what it is that makes us both tick. This is one of the most delicious objects I've ever put in my mouth. It's the best spinach and artichoke dip I've ever had with buttery, herby, garlicky brioche rolls. You cannot do much better. That's a touchdown. That is what I was trying to denote there. Oh, look at that stretch. Next up.
What's up, y'all? So Stitch Fix told me that
Secure the bombs.
Reloading on ammo! What is on?
Protect the bombs.
Wall's done!
Seconds. 5 seconds left. Bomb locations are secure.
if I don't get any compliments on my new fit, that I get my next fix for free.
Some fried buffalo cauliflower. We've done wings to death on this channel, so now I'm going to try out some cauliflower. We are starting, of course, with a whole head of cauliflower, which I'm going to cut in half, remove the core, and break down into individual florets. Now, you could absolutely tempura batter these. You could just dust them in cornstarch and deep
Loading new mag! I'm reloading!
10 seconds. Down to 5 seconds. You can protect your bombs from being defused by Op 4.
That's not mine. Going out.
Someone exposed you.
Shield going out. Coil on standby. Healing. Changing mag! Shields up. Healing station in position.
One friendly operator remaining. Mission failed. All friendly.
fry them. There's any number of ways that you could make these, but I want something that's going to stand up to sauce and stay crispy. So recently I did an episode on my ultimate fried chicken. And it's a little labor intensive and it requires some specialty ingredients. So don't consider this breading a requirement. If it's too labor intensive.
What are you doing?
Working on my speech. We've always had this incredible chemistry that's just...
Last but not least, perhaps the most culturally insensitive.
drone to locate a bomb. Insertion in 10 seconds. 5 seconds to go. You must locate and defuse a bomb.
Drone activated.
You must recover the diffuser.
Detonating cluster charge! Reload!
The diffuser has been recovered.
Deploying charge!
Okay, it's ready.
Friendly, last operator, 10 seconds remaining. Op 4 eliminated all friendlies.
The dishes I'm preparing today, pot sticker nachos. I got the idea from making a pot sticker pizza for social media about a year ago that was one of the most drop-dead delicious things I've ever eaten, and I wanted to see if I could adapt it to the nacho format. This guy is also going to involve deep frying. What I have here are some prepared egg roll wrappers that I'm going to cut into triangles, not unlike tortilla chips, and deep fry. So go ahead and cut those up, separate them out, and drop them into some 350 degree Fahrenheit oil. The temperature here is especially important. If the oil's down to 325, 300, the bubbles are not going to form on these wonton wrappers. If it's too hot, they're going to brown too quickly, and you're going to have undercooked segments that are soft and chewy, and overcooked segments that are borderline burnt. Around 350, they're going to bubble up, and they're going to brown evenly. You want to pull them well before they look done.
Secure the area. Keep the bombs protected.
Reloading! Loading new mag!
I'm reloading.
Reloading mag!
Op 4 has located a bomb. Plan your defenses accordingly. 10 seconds. Down to 5 seconds. Located by Op 4.
Position device!
ADS deployed and ready to go.
Swapping mag!
All set. Ready to reload.
Last stop standing. Friendly's victorious. Hostiles eliminated.
They should be pretty light and blonde because they continue to brown very immediately. You can even watch them do it as soon as you take them out of the oil. This batch, they look really pretty coming out of the oil, but after cooling, they're too brown. We are, after all, going to bake these like nachos. So pull them when they're a little bit too blonde. They will darken up, and generously salt them with kosher salt while they're still warm so that it adheres to.
We need to locate a bomb. 10 seconds. 5 seconds to go. Your mission is to locate and defuse a bomb. Bomb has been located.
Giving aid!
Gemini's out of commission.
Let's see them hide now.
Reloading!
Moving you mag.
Time to make a door.
The diffuser is no 15 seconds remaining. 10 seconds. All friendlies have been eliminated.
The chips. Now I'm going for sort of a ground pork scallion pot sticker filling as the topping for these nachos. So I've got a half dozen scallions that I'm going to thinly slice the greens and set those aside for garnish, and then finely chop the whites. These are going to be the basis of the stir fry. Now, it's just not nachos without cheese, and pot stickers and cheese sounds weird, but trust me, it's going to work. I've got 8 ounces of Monterey Jack that I'm grating here. Monterey Jack is a great melter and has a very mild, inert flavor that's just going to play nicely with whatever we put on it. Make sure you're grating that yourself. If you use pre-grated cheese, it's coated in starches, which are going to prevent it from melting properly. You know, whenever you've made nachos with pre-grated cheese and the shreds kind of keep their form factor, they melt, but you can still see all the shreds on there, and there's a little bit of oily separation. That's what happens. Then I'm going to roughly chop about a quarter head of cabbage, just want bite-sized pieces here, and prepare our pork. First, I'm going to make a solution of 1 tablespoon of water combined with a 1/4 teaspoon each, salt and baking soda. We're going to add this to 1 pound of ground pork, sort of mixing it up and smearing it together, making sure that that solution gets evenly distributed throughout the meat. This is going to keep the pork tender and keep it from drying out. Let it rest at room temperature for about 10 minutes before cooking. Now, one more thing we have to prepare is a bechamel. I want to bring a lot of creamy texture to these nachos. I don't want it to just be chunks of pork sitting on top of chips. And bechamel is a very neutral flavor, so it's not going to mess with the whole palette that we're building here. Pretty standard bechamel, 1 tablespoon each butter and flour, cooked together in a small saucepan for 1 to 3 minutes, just like the gravy. Slowly streaming in 1 cup of whole milk, 1 little splash at a time. Once all the milk is added, cook gently for 5 to 10 minutes until it's nice and thick. That's all there is to it. Now it's time to stir fry our pork filling. So I've got a large nonstick skillet here that I'm preheating with a little bit of oil until it's nice and hot, adding our pork broken up in 1 even layer, trying not to crowd it, and cook it without moving it for 3 to 4 minutes until we get some nice brown crust forming. This is really fatty pork and it put a lot of fat into the pan. You can always shove a wad of paper towels into the side of the pan, tilt the pan toward the paper towels, and let it soak up a bunch of that fat if things are getting too greasy. Go ahead and toss those around once they caught some color. Chop them up into more bite-sized pieces. We want this to be really well distributed across the nachos. Then we're adding our finely minced scallion whites, 2 cloves of fresh garlic crushed, and grating in 1 to 2 inches of fresh ginger. These flavors are essential to pot stickers, so don't skip them. Now, I erroneously added the cabbage. Before we do this, normally we'd want to add some soy sauce, some fish sauce, but I forgot. So we're going to make up for it later. And sauteing that with the meat until the cabbage is wilted and it's lost about half of its mass. Now, finally, it's time to assemble our nachos. I'm laying down 1 layer of wonton chips and sprinkling it with about half of our Monterey Jack cheese. Then I'm topping those with another layer of chips, sprinkling that with some cheese, topping with our pork and cabbage mixture, hitting it with the rest of the Monterey Jack, and drizzling it with our bechamel. This guy's headed into a preheated 400 degree Fahrenheit oven until the cheese is melted and the bechamel is bubbly. Then the last topping we're dealing with here is some chili crisp. I'm mixing about a 1/4 cup of Sichuan chili crisp with about a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, our soy sauce, and fish sauce to create a drizzleable texture. Our nachos are out of the oven. We're hitting them with all those beautiful scallion greens and drizzling with our Sichuan chili crisp mixture. And there you have it, pot sticker nachos. I don't know how you feel about these, but I know how they taste. And it's awesome. It's so good. You're not anticipating these kinds of flavors when you grab the nacho, but it's so bright and vibrant. The fresh ginger, garlic, the fish sauce, soy sauce, chili crisp, and the cheese and bechamel are only there to bring texture and structure. They glue the toppings to the chips and they are nice and creamy and gooey. It might seem like a mishmash, it might seem like unnecessary fusion, but I promise you, it's fantastic. So good. In fact, we polished off that entire tray. And we had already been eating crazy stuff up to this point.
I haven't been to the grocery store in months because this delivery service offers hundreds of high-quality, non-GMO groceries.
I hope that you guys enjoyed these big game recipes. I know we're having a little fun with my lack of knowledge with sports, but the fact is that I love watching football because it's the most communal thing that I do. And it's an opportunity to share food with friends and family, connect with them on a casual and fun level, and make some amazing It's our 3rd date. The one where you come back to Mines so I can cook for you. But who knows? I'm wearing probably this exact shirt, textured t-shirt with tighter arms so I look buff. I'm drinking whiskey on an empty stomach because I'm nervous. And I'm making you coq au vin. Because, let's face it, there's nothing that gets a 3rd date done like coq au vin. This episode is sponsored by Challenge Dairy, the new butter in my kitchen. Challenge, the butter with the elk on it, is in the same family as Danish Creamery, but Challenge has innovated the way we use butter. They have these cubes in 4 tablespoon chunks, so you can throw it into your noodles, your pan sauce, or your potatoes. Today I'm using butter to elevate this date night coq au vin. So whether you're tackling a weekend cooking project like this dish, or getting dinner on the table quickly, you can grab a cube of Challenge butter. For more info on Challenge and to find yourself some butter cubes, scan the QR. This episode is sponsored by Challenge Dairy, the new butter in my kitchen. Challenge, the butter with the elk on it, is in the same family as Danish Creamery, but Challenge has innovated the way we use butter. They have these cubes in 4 tablespoon chunks, so you can throw it into your noodles, your pan sauce, or your potatoes. Today I'm using butter to elevate this date night coq au vin. So whether you're tackling a weekend cooking project like this dish, or getting dinner on the table quickly, you can grab a cube of Challenge butter. For more info on Challenge and to find yourself some butter cubes, scan the QR code or head to the description. Coq au vin doesn't just sound romantic, it is romantic. It's deep, dark flavors earned with time and heat, passion. And you can communicate that to your partner with every bite.
Just listen to me. Critics are saying Mike and Nick and Alice packs a bloody fun punch.
You gonna freak out a little?
It's hilarious.
Time to party.
And an absolute joyride.
That's a...
Sex stuff. So
Think you need a smart...
Today we're making somebody's
rib.
Today I'm going to show you guys how to make delicious fall off the bone ribs inside of your oven. First,
Quick and easy.
This is the most expensive meal you can get at Chinese takeout, and I bet you don't know why. But I'm gonna tell you. Oh yeah. Starting off with mushrooms, shiitake, king oyster, Making my wife's pregnancy cravings, part 3. And this one makes me just a little bit uncomfortable. We're starting
You got me again, you beastie!
If you're a college student, a business person, a full-time mom, or someone who's just you. Spring rolls are one of my all-time favorite foods, hands down. But the problem is they can be a pain to roll and they don't exactly keep well. So today, we're fixing that problem. Now we're gonna be doing 2 different proteins today, shrimp and a barbecue chicken. And truthfully, you can do one or the other, or you can also just do neither of them. I just wanna make sure that you had the options. But for our barbecue chicken, we're gonna start by building our marinade. 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of fish sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, a little bit more than a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of honey. I am out of honey. That's an unpleasant sound. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Then we'll go ahead and roughly chop about a 1/4 cup of minced lemongrass. I'll be honest, I'm not totally sure how many layers of lemongrass you're supposed to remove before you actually start like chopping it up, but I always remove a couple. It may be too much. I may be wasting lemongrass, but this is just what I know. Please feel free to correct me. This is quite honestly the only time I've ever thought, man, you know what I really wish I had? One of those slap chop things, because it just goes everywhere. And that's good enough for me. Then we'll go ahead and do the same to about half a shallot. We're just gonna cut a little bit of a rainbow, trying to leave that root intact. Then we'll just rotate and slice as thin as we possibly can. Beautiful. And then last up for chopping, just a couple cloves of garlic, if I can get them out. I don't want that one, I want the bigger one. Okay, that's it. Okay, this is a mess for later. And we'll just run our knife through it, similar to what we did with the lemongrass. And then now we can just add in some fresh cracked black pepper. And if you're wondering why we didn't add any salt into this marinade, because between the oyster sauce, the fish sauce, and the soy sauce, there's a lot of salt. And the last thing we want to do is over salt, because we can always add more, but we can't take it away. And now we can go ahead and add in our chicken thighs, boneless, skinless, of course, but also you could do bone in, skin on if you want, just more work. About a pound of these straight in, and we'll just make sure this is nicely mixed and everything is well coated. And then we'll just leave this on the side to marinate while we prep everything else. But also, if you have the time, feel free to marinate that in the fridge overnight. You'll get a better result, but this is still gonna be delicious, so don't worry if you don't have the time. And now we can go ahead and cut up our produce, starting with these bushes of lettuce, romaine to be specific. We're not gonna be fancy here, we're just gonna make sure we're cutting straight down, starting at the tip. We're looking for a
Protect the bombs. located a bomb. Be ready for assault. Down to 5 seconds. Bomb located by Op 4.
Deployed. Surface secured.
Looting ammo.
Operator remaining. Mission failed. All friendlies were eliminated.
About 2 finger lengths or about an inch thick. Nothing too crazy here until we get to about the nubbin. And then at that point, I toss the nubbin. I know some people put them in water and regrow them. I do not do that. And we'll repeat. You see it? You see it?
When life gives you overripe bananas,
Protect the bombs. Be advised, Op 4 has found a bomb.
Device positioned.
operator standing.
Reload.
Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
Bust out your mixing bowl, grab a stick of Land O'Lakes butter, and bake the best darn loaf of banana bread your book club has ever tasted. Eat it like you own it.
I'm coming for you.
It did hit my refrigerator first, but it did go in. Now, real quick, before we continue, I'd like to take a moment to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money. So recently,
Secure the area. Keep the bombs protected.
Camera feed up and running. Reload.
10 seconds left. 5 seconds left. Op 4 has located a bomb.
Initiate jammer.
Wall secured!
One Op 4 remaining. Friendly's victorious. Hostiles eliminated.
my wife and I have started saving to buy a house. And once we started doing that with one plan, Rock Company, Foreign Control. I hope that you're doing well. I hope you had a lovely Valentine's Day, whether it was with yourself, your friends, your partner, whatever it is. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys got any good plans this weekend? Anything coming up? Anything to celebrate? Let me know. We can all celebrate you together in the comments. And then we'll just let this go ahead and sit and really air off as much as possible. Now we've got some Persian cucumbers, which we're just gonna go ahead and cut into matchsticks by slicing off the tip there. Go ahead and cutting on a bias. And we can just form these into little stacks and cut them into nice little matchsticks. And we can just carefully move all those to a bowl and move on to our carrot, our enormously, uncomfortably long carrot. I'm just gonna start by peeling mine because it's relatively thick, so it can survive a good peel. And then I have this cool little peeler that is just gonna make little strips like that. But you can also do that by hand with just a knife, but this thing makes it great, and it was like $2 at the Asian market, so I would recommend it. However you cut it, you just want to make sure they're nice and thin because we're not cooking them, they're still raw, so you don't want them to be too thick. Because if they're too thick, they're gonna be
Need to use your drone to locate a bomb. Drone has located a bomb. Ten seconds to insertion. 5 seconds to insertion. Proceed to bomb location and defuse it. Friendly operator remaining. The diffuser has been destroyed. Mission failed.
Be a pain to bite through. Then we can just move all these over to a separate bowl. And then our last little bit of veggie we're going to chop up is just going to be some green onions. Something nice to garnish. I'm going to cut it at an angle, and we're just going to thinly slice on a bias. And if you're having trouble with this, all you need to do is just look directly to the person in front of you. And don't break eye contact. Please don't do that, because you might get hurt. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. I'm sorry. That was terrible advice. Don't listen to me. But if you do want to know how to cut vegetables, I got a video on that. And now for our beloved peanut sauce, starting with a half cup of creamy peanut butter.
We need to locate a bomb. Be advised your drone has located a bomb. 10 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. Proceed to bomb the location and defuse it. Now secured.
Setting shot!
The diffuser is no longer in your possession. The diffuser has been recovered. Op 4 eliminated. Friendly mission successful.
Peanut butter is delicious. 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce, 4 tablespoons of shoyu, 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of mirin, and 4 tablespoons of sweet chili sauce. Now we can just very slowly and carefully mix this all together, and then once all that peanut butter is incorporated, we can go ahead and thin it out to our desired consistency with a little bit of water. I'd recommend doing about a tablespoon at a time until you find exactly how thin or thick you like it, because if you add too much, it's kind of a pain to thicken it back up, but if you don't add enough, you can always just add more. But also keep in mind that we're not going to be dipping into this, we're going to be drizzling it on top, so probably want it to be a little bit thinner than you're used to with like a traditional dipping peanut sauce. And once you have it how you like it, we can go ahead and taste for salt and sugar. Oh, that's really good. It's good. And of course, if you want to be fancy about it, you can pour it into a squeeze bottle. But you can also just like drizzle it on with a spoon, so don't feel like you have to buy a squeeze bottle. But feel free to keep those empty ketchup bottles or whatever condiments that you like, because those are still very functional squeeze bottles. And they don't cost you any extra money.
Seconds. 5 seconds before insertion. A bomb must be located and defused.
Loading your magazine. Torches ready! Bullets! Enemy device, go! Device is disabled!
you know. I think I'm gonna call it for today. We got somewhere. Thank you, Cal, for being here. Yeah, he got That was total. That was domination. I was on it. I was locked in for those few rounds, catching whatever I could on that. Ever since that one defensive round, where I kind of just put traps and slow their team down, I was catching whoever I could with everything I had. No. All right, man. Thank you for being here.